You guys, I am so proud of myself right now because I literally just figured out how to make these lights not blinky on my camera. I hope that helped y'all's watching experience. It was pissing me off so much and it looks so much better now. So welcome back everybody. If you're new here, my name is Freyleyce. Welcome. It's the end of the month, so naturally I must do my monthly wrap up. It's a must. It's super popular on my channel, so like all the more reason to film it. But no, genuinely, I love seeing how much I read per month. I got a comment yesterday or the other day, and one of you guys had asked me why I stick to discrete covers even if I'm reading it on Kindle. And while the biggest one is that if a family member finds my channel, it's not like super obvious if they don't watch a video, but actually that happened the other day and I can't go into that or else we'll be here for hours. But I also like following an aesthetic with my books, so you'll see a lot in my thumbnails that I have a certain like theme of color in them. I like everything matching on my channel, but also discrete covers are just more prettier to me. I don't really want to see a man on the cover. A woman on the cover, that's a little bit different, but just discrete covers are so much more pretty. So that was a little bit of blah blah. Let's move into the 24? I want to say 24. I don't know if it was 24. Books that I read in the month of May. I was just about to pull up my Goodreads and then I realized that I actually have some paperbacks to show y'all first. I got some new plants too. Do you want to see it? It's like right there. It's really pretty. But either way, I just went to grab these off my shelf because in the end of last month's wrap up, I told y'all that I was reading the Ravenhood trilogy by Kate Stewart. Yes, I finished it. It took me a long ass time, honestly, but I finished it. So I think when I updated you guys, I had just started Flock. I found it super intriguing because I started it last like November or something, and then I put it down because I was like, I don't really want to read this right now. And so picking it back up, I actually really loved it. I think it was a much better reading experience though because I skipped the first like 50% because I had already read it. So it definitely has a slow start, and it was much better to read it without the slow start. I rated it like 3.75 because it was a good setup, but like still so many questions unanswered, and I was just like, come on, we need more. But it's okay because we got more, and then we got our hearts broken. Now, I know y'all say this is super emotional, like you cry thinking about rain, you know, and I don't think I got it at that emotional extent. I mean, I did cry when something happens in this book, but I didn't sob. Like, I didn't feel so emotionally moved by it as much as y'all did, I think. So while I did really enjoy it and I did cry, I wasn't like whole heart, soul, body, mind invested in it, you know? But yeah, Exodus was much better. I definitely like her endgame. This is like a multiple love kind of situation. I really did enjoy her endgame, which you get to see in the finish line. I read the like note from Kate Stewart at the end of this where she said that this was supposed to be a duet, but then it like moved into a trilogy. And I definitely got the vibes of that in here. Like, it felt like it was more cohesive as a duet, and then this was like an extension of the characters, kind of like the Grip trilogy by Kennedy Ryan. Like, the last book is really character focused, and so I was a little bored, but I did really like the ending. Overall, I think I gave this series like 4.5 stars, maybe 4, because I did really enjoy it. Flock was so fucking slow to start with though. If y'all hadn't have encouraged me to pick it back up, I don't think I would have picked it back up, but I did enjoy it. I did, and I will be recommending it for sure. I normally go in like order of when I read it, but that wasn't in order, so we're just gonna go to what I think I read next. And that one was Damien Forever by Tempest Fan. So this is a rockstar romance. I literally had thought I had read all the rockstar romances with good covers. This one is like a solid cover. It still has a man on it, but it's kind of all right. Not like uberly discreet or anything. Doesn't really match the vibe, but oh well. So this one is Friends to Lovers with a love triangle. I love that. I love that aspect. I think the Friends to Lovers was like super cheesy and like so cliche. That was okay because then it threw in the love triangle, and I have not seen that really in a lot of other rockstar romance books, so I was like, yeah, this is good. And there's also something that happens between the three of them, and I was like, oh my god, you did not just do that, because I did not see it coming. If I read a rockstar romance, I either love it or I fucking hate it. This one is one of those times where it's in the middle, you know, like it was good, it wasn't awesome, and then we like go in strong with a fucking DNF. So Facing Us by Nikki Harris. This is like a series, I think it's like 5-6 books, and I was like really interested in them because they're mainly like mafia and they've got some nice covers, and I was like, yeah, I could like this. I didn't. Mainly because the male main character is an alcoholic, and I was like, I don't really want to read about your drunk ass for hundreds of pages. Sometimes I just can't feel sympathy for these characters, so I stopped the series and I DNF'd it like 50%, but I could see myself continuing on because I've heard that they get a lot better, so maybe. Unbroken by R.J. Lewis. I've actually read some R.J. Lewis before. I didn't realize this. I read a rockstar romance duet from her that was like pretty solid. It wasn't anything special, but it was solid, and this one is kind of the same. Like, it had some parts that I absolutely hated, and then it had some parts that I was like, oh, that's not bad. Honestly though, a lot of it I was not here for. It's a like friends to lovers menage romance. Is it menage? Menage. Like threesome romance. Not just like a sex part of it, but like an actual romance between 3 of them. It's MMF. That's what it is. Jesus Christ. It was just really annoying. Like, I hated the characters' moves, and a lot of it was super slow. I think the MMF part was done well, and they were all kind of in love with each other, you know, even though the 2 guys didn't really want to talk about it, but they were, I could tell. It was lacking something. I don't really know what more to say. It was lacking something. Then I read Wretched by Emily McIntyre. This one was for a vlog, so I will put that up here, but you can also find that on my page. It was a real fun vlog. I'm not gonna say much about it because my whole ass thoughts are in there, but it was solid. It was good, but it wasn't anything special. And then I read a series called Beasts of Prey, which is a Mongolian mafia romance. And I was so excited to read a book based in somewhere other than North America or the UK. The first book was so fucking good. It was so fucking good. It was 5 stars. It was like a foster sibling romance. I was here for it. I loved it. The tension was there. The butterflies were there. The 2 were so hot, and he was so protective, and she was like kind of bitchy, and oh my god, it was so good. The dynamic was so good. And then the second one kind of just went downhill from there. It was so boring, which is what you don't want when you're reading a trilogy about the same couple. And it was that. So this one was just really kind of like sitting around for like 40% of the book. And then the last 60, even that wasn't very interesting. So I was kind of just like, do I DNF it? Do I keep going? But honestly, all month I've been in like a weird slump thing where I don't want to continue on with these books, but I don't want to DNF them because I don't want to start another one. I don't know what the fuck's going on. I read like 2 5-star books this month. It was shit. But either way, this one, it just kept going downhill, really boring. Didn't feel the tension. The characters were already together. I didn't give a fuck. And I did read the 3rd book. So boring. Beyond boring. It literally had nothing in it. And the fact that there was no plot and there was no sex at the same time, like if there's no plot, throw in some sex. They had like 3 sex scenes throughout the entire book, and I was just like, no. So the 4th book did come out like a week ago or some shit, but I don't see myself reading it because I'm fed up with how it was so boring. Why? And then I read a sapphic female monster smut novella. Sapphic and female are the same things. Either way, Little Green Vines by Britt Andrews. This was a banger. I've never read monster smut before, ever. And so reading this, I was kind of apprehensive, but it was hot. It was hot. I don't really think I'll read monster smut again, but it was what it was. Her Villains by Jade Presley. Yeah, I read this one on my mom's birthday, actually. I remember where I was when I was reading this. This one is fantasy reverse harem, and thankfully it's not too heavy on the fantasy, or else I would literally be confused as fuck because I don't read a lot of fantasy, and I thought I would struggle so much, but it was fine because there wasn't too much fantasy involved. It was really heavy on the reverse harem and really fucking boring. I feel like it was on the shorter side. I think it was like 270, but it was so boring. And at the end, the plot was just like overload and not a lot of sex. So boredom was what that reading week was. Pensive by Trevina Terry. I saw Jen from the Book Refuge read this one, and I was like, you know what, it sounds good. I don't know what kind of fucking mood or slump I'm in, so let's read something steamy. And that's all that this was. It's dom sub, interracial relationship, and the hero is like super dangerous. I think he like left the military and then became like a killer for hire or something. Even though it felt like it was going to be insta-lovey, it wasn't. So I really appreciated that the author didn't do that, but it was just a little boring and I wasn't too in love with the characters. I mean, I had a fun time reading it though. It was really hot. It just didn't give me butterflies, didn't make me squeal, didn't make me feel all excited. Like none of these fucking books did. And then I read A Bullet Between Us by Kay Dossel. This one I've wanted to read forever. It's a mafia romance, but it wasn't on KU. So I was like waiting my turn, like, oh bitch, when is it gonna be on KU? Because it was published like a year and a half ago. And then it was finally on KU. And I was like, fuck yeah, you know I'm reading it. So after I finished Her Villains, I jumped right into this one, and it was super good. He was like a dirty cop and part of the Bratva at the same time, and then she just got tangled in it. So it was good. I love dogs in books. That is one thing I love. If you kill a dog in the book though, you're gonna get a low rating from me. But yeah, this one, his dog was so cute. I really liked the relationship. It was like steamy without being overly steamy, and it had a great balance of plot and all that shit. So I did really enjoy this. I gave it 4 stars. Sorry, I also gave Her Villains 3 stars and then Pensive 3 stars as well. Then I read Corruption by Jenica Snow. This one was a newly released mafia romance, and I was so excited because it had all the tropes. It has best friends to lovers, mafia, touch her and I kill you hero, hero. I hate everyone in the world but you hero. Psychopath hero. I think the heroine was also a ballerina or some shit. She was giving that at least. And the like second chance kind of vibes that you get from a friends to strangers to lovers vibe. I was so excited and it didn't actually let me down. It was just not as like exciting as I thought it would be. Like I didn't get butterflies, and I'm gonna say that for almost every single book in this video. But yeah, Corruption I did really enjoy, like thoroughly. This shit was so good, but it was just missing something. Like it just didn't feel as deep as a lot of other books would. It was just a real fun time. Oh my god. And then I was going through a rough time. I had a week or so there when life was not it. I don't know what was going on, but I read back-to-back sapphic romances or female-female romances because I just wanted something new. So I read Don't Tell Me No by Honey Chanel. It was literally smut. I didn't hate it. It was solid, but it was just smut and I didn't like the characters at all. I also really don't like when one of the main characters calls the other main character honey. Like you have so many other good things. Love is my favorite though. Like, yes, love. That shit hits. But I didn't really see the connection between the two of them. Impartial. I was really impartial to this one. It didn't hit. I gave it 3 stars. Dark Notes by Pam Godwin. I was super excited to read this one as well. I have a few books that I got from Z Library and I downloaded them to my Kindle. This one as well I've been wanting to read for super long because I feel like it's just a really good dark romance, and it was. It was also student teacher, which is not my favorite thing. I'm learning that taboo might not be my thing right now. Like I'm in an anti-taboo kind of slump or something. I don't know what it is. I'm not a huge taboo reader, but there's a lot out there that I'm like, yeah, these are solid ass books. I love them. But right now it's just not hitting. I don't know. So this one was kind of taboo. There's also a large age gap, but I did really enjoy it. It's a dark romance and it's also really fucking steamy and it was so hot. I did really enjoy it. I rated it 4 stars. It was a bit slow and it took me a bit to get through it, but it was solid. Okay, this is where my sapphic romance kick continues. Then I read Vibe by Liza James, another book that had been on my TBR for so long and I just like didn't get to it, but it is so good. This one gave me like semi-butterflies and they were so hot together. This book is also super aesthetically pleasing. It's got some cult shit. It's got tons of steamy times and it was just super good. I've read like 3 books from Liza James now and she literally has not let me down with any of them. So yeah, I love this one and I'm also gonna come out with a female-female romance recommendation video because it is Pride Month coming up. I'm very excited to film that video for you guys. Another sapphic romance, Queen Takes Rose by Katie Robert. This one was super good. It was classified as enemies to lovers, but I'm really picky about my enemies to lovers and this one didn't classify as enemies to lovers for me, but it was pretty steamy and the dynamic between the two of them was awesome. It's heavy on the dom sub, which I don't always love. I think it really fit these two characters though. Like I think it's just a personal thing that I wouldn't like that, but it really fit for these two characters and they were like so perfect for each other. It was so cute. Malone is one of the female characters and she is just super hot. Slave to the Rhythm by Jane Harvey Barrick or some shit. This one sucked. I was so excited because it sounded like a dancer romance. I fucking hated it. I DNF'd it at like 25%. I didn't like the direction it was going. I don't really like when the characters don't seem like all powerful. And I was just kind of confused too. Like it had a lot of mystery and I was like, yeah, I don't really give a fuck about that right now. I believe the female main character had a disability and I was so excited for that. I've literally never read a dark romance with any character that has any form of disability or anything like that. I was so excited. Still think about picking this book up, but I feel like I won't. Then I read The Clutch Duet by Anne Malcolm and that was in preparation for... I have to go get it, guys. I'm trying to move my chair without moving my chair. My legs are asleep. Jesus Christ. Okay, that was in preparation for What Grows Dies Here, which is what I read after that. So What Grows Dies Here follows Ren and Carson, and we get to see them in The Clutch Duet because they're like friends of the main characters in The Clutch Duet. So I read The Clutch Duet first. This one, I had high hopes for it. It wasn't really all that. The hero in this, Jay, was just really mysterious and so cold and so ruthless. And literally, I couldn't tell you a word or a sentence he said during the entire book. It felt like he didn't talk at all. I really did not see the chemistry at all. His point of views were in third person and I hated that. Absolutely hated that. Also, it was incredibly boring and the sex scenes were almost fade to black in the way that they were like a paragraph long. And there was only like 4 of them during the entire book. And in the promotion for this duet, it was classified as spicy. And I was like, yeah, this is not spicy. But it definitely gave like dangerous hero. And Stella was pretty fun, if not really stubborn and annoying. I do really like the covers though. The first one is beautiful, but the second one also really beautiful. And I would love to have that on my shelf, but I didn't really enjoy these, so I don't think I'm gonna spend the money on them. I gave those both like 3.75 stars. That being said though, What Grows Dies Here was a lot better. This is one of the most gorgeous covers I've ever seen, so I was like super excited to read it. It follows the friends of the 2 main characters in The Clutch Duet, and so Ren, who is the heroine, is super strong-minded and like not weak at all. Boss bitch energy and like a complete bitch to everyone. She's a rich heiress too, and I love that, especially because Carson was like chill and down to earth. So you got the like bitchy heroine to nice guy trope, and I live for that. And it's also really emotional because you'll see something that happens in the Clutch duet that affects them in here. And I actually don't think you should read the Clutch duet first, because this one is much better. And it was literally copying all the events that happened, pasting them, and changing the point of view. I was not here for that. But Ren and Carson, I really loved their romance. She's just super stubborn, strong-minded, and she's like, I'm gonna leave you. And he's like, no, you're not. I'll be right here. Come back when you've calmed down. And I'm like, I live for that. But yeah, really emotional, huge triggers for something that I feel like is a spoiler, but if you have triggers around children, then you should probably look up the triggers. And also, if you're gonna read this, skip the dedication because it spoils the entire book. Also, don't be like me and read the last page. I accidentally did that, okay guys? Accidentally. Also, want to say one more thing. Chapters in this are mislabeled. This one says Carson. I don't know if my camera's focused, but this says Carson, but it's actually in Ren's point of view. So I was so fucking confused for a lot of it because it says like literally, I walked into Clutch and saw Carson, but I'm like, this is Carson's point of view. Why are you seeing Carson from Carson's point of view? So I tried not to deduct points for that because Anne Malcolm is a small author, and I don't know if it was her fault or Amazon's fault, but one of y'all should fix that shit because it was so annoying. That being said, I did get some butterflies from that one. So I rated it 4 stars, like 4.25 maybe. And then I read The Dare by Harley LaRue. Jesus Christ, I'm late to the hype on this one because it literally peaked in like Halloween last year. Basically, this is a smarty. This is a smutty dark novella. Dark, man. And I love me some dark novellas. And it was smut. This had like everything on the kink list, like everything, and it was really good. I am very interested to see how Harley LaRue turns this into a full-length book because I really enjoy Harley LaRue's work. I think she's super talented, and I'm very, very interested to see what the full-length book is like. I rated it like 4 stars because it was just a fun time. Okay, we've made it almost to the end, but I'm currently reading 2 books, and I'm very excited for them. So, number 1 is Press Play by C. Lamari. Y'all, I got the motherfucking arc of this shit. It comes out June 10th. I love C. Lamari, and I've put so many of y'all onto it, and then you messaged me saying like, I just read Swan Song, I loved it. And I'm like, yes! That makes me so happy. Falcon's Prey as well, y'all. Those 2 are so good. And so Press Play comes out June 10th, and I signed up for the arc. I got it. I'm not gonna be vlogging this one, unfortunately, but I'm gonna be giving y'all all the updates on my Instagram. So links for that are in the description. But yes, I am so excited. I'll give you my thoughts in my June wrap up because obviously I haven't started it yet. I fucked up the arc of it, and it was totally my fault, but yeah. And then I'm also reading Reckless Air by Jenica Snow. She has like a 19-book fucking series, Underworld Kings or something like that, and so Corruption was part of it. You notice the similar covers, and then this one, I was like, you know what? Sure, let's do it, because it just seems like a good time. It's a solid read. It's not anything special, but it seems like a solid read. And so I picked it up. Thoughts coming in June. Wow, that was a lot. Thank you all so much for watching. It feels like I'm sitting here for 50-ass minutes, but either way, I think that was like 24 books. I still haven't counted, but you know, it'll be in the title. So thank you so much for watching. If you're still here, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in a new video very soon.